deal with airplane peanuts.
Our Roseanne episode got taken down and we got strikes on YouTube and we couldn't post for a week. Those were the rules.
There are other places, we might start uploading the show to Twitter. We are experimenting with all kinds of things.
You don't get to communicate with YouTube really about it, right? This ruling comes from people you can't communicate with or access, and then that's how they do it.
He's like, well, we could just cut the joke out. And I'm like, I'm not just taking a 3-minute chunk out of my special.
Joe List just got done celebrating the release of his third stand-up special in the last 3 years, but festivities were cut short just 12 days later when YouTube struck his video with various restrictions, demonetizing the video and stopping all the built-up momentum this special had. When the news first came out that Joe's special was being suppressed, I was confused. As someone who watched Enough for Everybody in its entirety, I was racking my brain trying to think of what part could have possibly gotten this thing flagged. As it turns out, Joe List was struck for using the word as the punchline in one of his favorite jokes of the new hour. Although the whole thing is very funny start to finish, which is why it's even a bigger shame that YouTube is making it so hard for people to see.
That's what's ironic, by the way. The C word joke is like progressive. I'm saying we used to treat women shittily.
Right. It's no nuance. It's all some robot who hurt and malfunction.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, Giannis had the great point. He's like, people are looking at their screen so much, they're becoming AI. That's why, like that New York Times thing you commented, they didn't get the joke. It's almost the irony. We're losing our nuance.
Right.
We're becoming robots.
That's a good point. They're flagged or whatever you call it, strike, whatever they call that.
Yes. God hates flags.
They just hear the word and go like, bloop, bad.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's no nuance or irony or context, just word-based.
Yeah, so now, and then I was talking to my associate over there at YouTube, and he's like, well, we could just cut the joke out. And I'm like, I'm not just taking a 3-minute chunk out of my special.
No, it's a good joke. Bleep it if anything, but can you go in and go, bitches?
Maybe, but we've already appealed once, so now it's like, we have to appeal a second time.
Now, something that makes YouTube's behavior during this entire situation even more interesting is comparing the current landscape of comedy on YouTube to that of corporate streamers in which YouTube was originally used to break free from. What once was thought of as an enemy of real comedy due to its typical mainstream censorship and fear of backlash from jokes, Netflix and YouTube have completely switched places. It used to seem like the corporate route was where you go to cash a check, with the understanding that they might cut out any jokes they deem inappropriate, while YouTube was the Wild West that allowed free speech and trusted their viewers to think critically on their own. But nowadays, YouTube is the one suppressing specials for edgy jokes, while Netflix is the one supporting real comedy. They allowed Shane Gillis to do hilarious jokes about ISIS, Trump, Biden, gays, you name it. Everything was on the table for him with Netflix.
And Netflix, I gotta hand it to them, they let me say everything.
Yeah.
I figured you with the R word, that was over, the big tardo, and they were like, go nuts.
Well, here's the thing.
That's awesome.
It's back.
Yeah.
It's back, baby. Time to let them know again.
They know they're
They sure do.
Netflix choosing to once again champion comedians is obviously good news in the grand scheme, but really doesn't help fill the huge gap that will be left by YouTube if they no longer support comedy. Netflix is still a gate-kept system in a lot of ways. Just because they're willing to support dark humor doesn't mean just anybody can release a special on their platform. And that was always the beauty of YouTube in the first place. So many of the best modern-day comics like Mark, Shane, Joe, and more blew up by self-producing projects on their own and uploading them to YouTube for free. Fans can see their hard work, start buying tickets to their shows, joining their Patreons. It's been the new way young comedians can make a name in this industry. And it just sucks that we could potentially be missing out on the next Mark Norman because of these illogical rules. It seems like comedians have different experiences working with like these big streamers. Obviously, like Andrew Schultz had the story about buying his back, and you're someone who typically works with darker jokes and darker topics. So was there anything that Netflix had a problem with, or were they just like the keys are in your hands?
I couldn't believe it. I think maybe like a Dave Chappelle or somebody opened the door for just saying crazy shit, or Ricky Gervais maybe. They were cool with, I got Holocaust, Down syndrome, fat jokes, trans jokes, you name it. And they were, the only thing they said was, I wouldn't do COVID stuff just because it's It's past.
Yeah.
It's out of date. So I was like, great.
It's not just uploading full-length specials that's giving comedians trouble. Even podcasts now rely heavily on this platform to share their episodes, which means the funniest people who push boundaries more often and take the biggest risks are having the most trouble. Tim Dillon has been aggressively suppressed multiple times, and Theo Von has had past and current episodes completely removed.
I don't know. Stavros was having this problem. He did an episode with Santino. That was in it. I think they demonetized that or took it down. And it had like 100,000 views in one day, and then now it has 110,000 views.
Oh my God.
And so that's what I'm looking at right now.
This happened to me with Glassman. I did Rick Glassman's, and we usually have a pretty good rapport. And he was like, "This is gonna get 250 easy," and we got about 105 because I think I said something offensive.
Yeah, it's really horrible. And I think Tuesdays with Stories has been demonetized.
It's not good because YouTube used to be the place to be, and now it's gonna be some new young buck's gonna come out. We're all gonna move to a funner neighborhood.
We can upload straight to Twitter the whole episodes now.
Yeah, but
Is
now
that
you're
right?
that guy.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, that's what Theo Von did, and he got like 8 million views on it because
What?
everyone has to see it now. His Roseanne episode got taken away because
Oh.
Roseanne said some Holocaust shit, and then he goes, "Well, f it," and he went and he tweeted about it, and Elon Musk tweeted back and said, "Put it on here," and just all the buzz got 8 million views.
Wow.
So it actually did better.
Until some changes start to happen higher up in the YouTube corporate ladder, there's a few solutions that comedians have been able to utilize in the face of suppression. Kind of. When Matt Rife had his hour special, Matthew Stephen Rife, age restricted out of nowhere, he chose to delete and re-upload the video, but turned the censorship into a viral marketing call to action, and the special ended up hitting great numbers the second time around. Another case of flipping this issue on its head and using it for your own gain is a story that everyone's familiar with by now, related to Andrew Schultz in Infamous.
Or maybe I'll be one of these guys, like these,
Grifters?
well, the people that are like, they got me,
Right.
help me out, or whatever.
Yeah, you'll be at the Capitol in a year.
Because Schultz, he blew up because he was on Barry
Huge.
Weiss because he had to change something or something.
Yeah. Too offensive. Some streamer wouldn't have him. Whatever the story is, but he made a cool $5 million. I do think you should throw it up on Twitter as well. F it.
The whole special?
Yeah.
Nothing but the special?
I
So help me
mean-
God.
I do, but I think you throw it up on Twitter because the Theopod's an hour and 40. This is an hour.
Right, interesting. Okay, maybe I'll do it.
Twitter's been the solution thrown out by a few guys now, especially after seeing the viral success that Theo Von had posting his band episode with Roseanne, which received over 80 million views. Twitter sounds great in theory and is a good option to get some more eyeballs, but you can't rely on Elon Musk to retweet every single episode. And I feel like more people go on Twitter seeking short-form, quick-hitting entertainment. It might be harder to reel someone into watching an hour and 40-minute podcast when they just open the app to read a few quick tweets. Which again is what's so beautiful about YouTube. People come on here with open minds looking for high quality videos to sink their teeth into of any length. It's still unclear what the solution to all of this is going to be in the end, but it is just wild and bizarre that we're living in the year 2023 and still struggling for freedom of speech online. However, all of us can help do something right now by going over to Joe List's YouTube channel and watching his full-length special, Enough for Everybody. Guest spots from last week: The Joe Rogan Experience had a Protect Our Parks, Louis J. Gomez, and a fight companion. Two Bears, One Cave was with Bert and Tom, Tom and Bert. Kill Tony this week had on Roseanne Barr and David Kochner. Flagrant did not have a guest. We Might Be Drunk had on Sal Volcano. Sal was also the guest in Are You Garbage? Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast talked with Billy. Moses Storm was on The Honeydew. Taste Buds was Sal and Eric Andre. Nikki Glazer was the guest on Whiskey Ginger. Weekend with Theo Von did not have a guest. The Tim Dillon Show talked with RFK Jr. and Cheryl Hines. The Blocks Podcast had on Steve-O. Johnny Mitchell was on First Date. Take Your Shoes Off with Rick Glassman had on Kyle Dunnigan. Joe DeRosa was on You Know What Dude. Mike Cannon was a guest on Chrissy Chaos. Tiger Belly had on Mateo Lane. Too Short was on This Bitch Podcast. Joe List was on OnlyFans. And there's a new episode of The Regs that was uploaded last week as well. Before we move on to new specials, a quick word from today's sponsor, MyBookie. Football season is finally back, and MyBookie has a new cash out system that allows you to bet and win all season long. I know you guys are going to be betting on these games, so you might as well be using MyBookie for an entire season filled with odd boosts and free bets. They're one of the most trusted and easy to use platforms in the game, and as is my preferred way to bet every single Sunday. This season, MyBookie has a no-strings-attached cash-out bonus that lets you deposit and withdraw quickly. Use our promo code JKWRLD on deposits of $50 or more, and you could receive up to $200 in cash bonuses. Bet your deposit amount once, and you can cash out anytime. Again, that's promo code JKWRLD to claim your cash-out bonus. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. Now back to the video. As far as new stand-up specials that are either out right now or coming out soon, by far one of the biggest specials of the year, Shane Gillis' Beautiful Dogs is out right now on Netflix and currently trending #1 in the United States. Louis J. Gomez also released a special last week called 30 Minutes with Louis J. Gomez, followed by 30 Minutes with Colin Tyrell that came out this week.
A few years ago, Donald Trump was in the news. He was in trouble. What he did was he put a load of undocumented migrants in cages. A lot of those people were kids, and nearly everyone was like, yo, this is messed up. You can't put kids in cages. Some people were like, fucking, that's what you get. But most people were like, this is fucked up. And then Joe Biden was like, yo, put me in charge. I'll free these kids. And then he ran for president and he won. And he became president of the United States of America. And then he, I think he forgot. Has anyone checked on those kids? They're all in their 20s now. Too big for those little kid-sized cages. Just waiting. Mr. Yo! Presidente Biden, please! I'm Mr. Yo!
There's also a few specials that will be coming out relatively soon. Matt Rife is preparing to film his next special titled Natural Selection. Taping will take place next weekend in Washington, D.C., and the special will come out on Netflix later this year. Please let me know in the comments if there's any upcoming specials that we missed in this week's episode of the Comedy News, which is also available right now for download on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We also have a handful of videos that will be coming out later this week right here on Joke World, so if you enjoy comedy and want to stay in the loop with all your favorite comedians, please consider subscribing to this channel right now. Thanks for watching.
At Joke World. That's did it. At Joke World.
And the world is WRLD.
That's a great YouTube channel, Joke World. Check it out.